On one day, I was wearing some shoes to school. They were not popular shoes. I think they were some tracks or something like that. 1985, everybody was wearing a certain shoe, but I had on my tracks. Day after day, I wore my tracks to school. Day after day, I'd wear my tracks. I'd wear them out on recess. I'd wear them to the gym. I'd wear my tracks. But one day, my aunt, and they were expensive at the time. We certainly couldn't afford it. Bought me a pair of Air Jordans. So one day I went from wearing tracks to wearing a brand new pair of black and red Air Jordans. Yeah, I went from the tracks of the day before to Jordans on the next day. And I want you to hear this picture. This might get out. Not because I talked about it. Not because I said anything about it. But it got out because it was written all over me. You see, the people the day before saw me in the tracks. The people the day before saw me walking around with those shoes on. Matter of fact, I didn't care too much about those shoes because they was tracks. They were dirty. They were dingy. They had scuffs on them. They had rips coming apart at the sole because I had worn them for so long. But the next day, I showed up with the Air Jordans on. And without me saying a word, it got out because it was written all over me. Sometimes, family, I got to shout for you is that this thing might get out because the change that God has made in your life is written all over you. You don't have to say a word. They're going to see that you went from raggedy and ruined one day to looking better than you ever looked on the next day. And without you saying anything, this might get out that a change has come over me. This might get out that I look different than I did the day before. And so without me having to brag about the fact that I had on something different, people were able to look at me and look down and see that I had on my brand new Air Jordans. Can we cut back to the leper? When they saw him, they knew how he looked the day before. But when they seen him on the next day, he looked like the best thing out there. And he didn't have to say a word. Can you shout that it got out without you saying a word? That God has kept you. People keeping up with you. They're trying to figure out how you did it. You're not trying to chase me. I don't got to say nothing. It is the favor of God upon my life. You trying to chase the wrong thing. I got nothing to do with what God decided to say, what he decided to say when he was willing to bless me and heal me, when he was willing to touch my life and deliver me, because he was willing to give change to my life and to my family. I got nothing to do with it. All I ever asked him is, if you're willing, make me whole. And God has delivered. And I want to tell somebody who's listening to this today, you can say the same thing as the leper. If you're willing, make me whole. And we serve a God, because of what happened and what Jesus did for us at Calvary, that he can say, I'm willing. You know he's willing because he stood out on that hill for us. We know he's willing. Let him touch you and make you whole. This might get out. Might get out that you've been changed. Might get out that you've been set free. Might get out. When it gets out, let me give you this for free. When it gets out, you're going to have some haters. Oh, yes. Some folk like to see you sick. Yeah, they loved it while you were still walking with your head down. They loved it because they thought they looked better than you and they looked over you. But when God delivers and makes you whole, you're going to look like the best thing out there without even trying. I didn't have to say nothing. All I had to do was show up to school with them Jordans on. And you can see the change. Imagine this leper. This might get out that Jesus has come to town and he's a healer.